Fortnite's brand new 33.10 update just dropped, getting everything ready for the launch of 2 new modes and giving us our first look at the rewards for Winterfest 2024, and all of this right after we just got the huge update containing the OG mode only a few days ago. However, with the recent launch of OG, the community has been more divided than ever on topics like Epic's eventual decision to add bots, and the inclusion of new movement and animations. And in amongst all the drama, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a break and look forward at some possible remixes we could be seeing in Season 2 of the OG mode. Alongside that, we're going to talk about some possible solutions that Epic may take to solve the issues people are having with the mode, and cover everything you need to know about Winterfest, the new Ballistic FPS mode, and the LEGO Fortnite Brick Life mode launching over the next couple of days. Real quick though, don't forget that I'm an Epic partner, and if you want to support the channel, you can use code EAY in the item shop. It's a really short code and only takes a second to type, even with a controller. And if you don't want to support me, that's all good, but just make sure that next time you purchase something from the item shop, you'll make sure you're supporting your favorite creator and that box isn't left saying none. Also, we're growing super fast, and if you want to be a part of the OG crew, you'll have to get your sub in as soon as possible, so you can leave a comment letting everyone know you've been around from the start, like these absolute legends on screen right now, for a chance to get a shout out next video. Now, before we jump into the Season 2 pass, we got some non-OG related updates this week, with a huge new 5v5 first-person shooter mode called Ballistic being announced, alongside a trailer too. The mode actually launches today, and it basically plays like Fortnite's take on Counter-Strike, with it solely being first-person focused, and each round's objective being either to defend or attack a bomb site depending on what team you're on. Weapons have spray patterns, and accuracy seems to be way worse when moving and almost perfect when standing still, which is also basically just like Counter-Strike. And that's not even it for new modes either, as the new LEGO Brick Life mode is releasing the day after Ballistic, and Epic actually took an interesting approach to marketing this, with key art paying respects to GTA 6's iconic key art revealed last year, and they also dropped a trailer alongside it revealing the addition of text chat to creative mode too, which is available right now in-game with the new update. And Fortnite is going absolutely crazy at the moment with the amount of new content and modes we're getting, and now with these new genre modes like Ballistic and the LEGO RP mode, it seems like Epic is coming for a piece of Counter-Strike and GTA's player base too, after already making a name for Fortnite in the rhythm game space with Fortnite Festival. And Epic is doing all of this while also continuing to support their core modes of Battle Royale and of course OG, and it'll be interesting to see how well they actually keep this up. I'd assume different teams are working on each mode, but they're also probably pretty stretched thin at this point with all the content going on at once. And with different passes for each mode, the amount of cosmetics being produced right now is insane too. And speaking of passes, we've all seen the OG pass by now with its 3 remixes of the very first skins we got in-game in Season 1. And something interesting that nobody seems to be pointing out about them is the inclusion of a Skull Trooper remix means that shop skins aren't entirely off the table for future seasons remixes. And the likely explanation for Skull Commander actually being in the pass is that there is of course only 2 skins in the first season's equivalent of a pass, as if you remember back then we didn't actually have a battle pass, with the first actual pass as we know them today launching with Season 2 instead. But regardless, this doesn't mean Epic isn't shying away from bending the rules a little bit and including skins that aren't necessarily part of a pass. I do personally think next season will stick to battle pass skins though, with the likely candidates for remixes being Black Knight, Sparkle Specialist, and either Blue Squire or Royale Knight. So with my in-game concepts, I chose to stick to these skins, and I think it makes sense to go through them in the order they appeared in the original Season 2 pass as well. And starting with Royale Knight as the first unlockable skin in the pass, they're keeping the original colour scheme but mixing things up with a more casual outfit similar to Renegade Runner in the first season's pass. And following Royale Knight, we of course have Sparkle Specialist, who in this design has a mask and a new skirt, and sticking with the disco ball vibe and not straying too far from the original skin means that at a distance this would probably look just like the OG Sparkle Specialist. And for the final skin in the pass, we of course have Black Knight. He's been upgraded with parts from every single Knight skin, with new shoulder pads, a new chest plate, and new boots too. Now obviously all of these skins are just models that I made, and we aren't 100% sure of what skins we'll actually be getting in the second OG pass yet, but it's a pretty safe guess to assume that these 3 are going to be the ones picked, especially Black Knight, as he's obviously one of, if not the most iconic OG skin in the game. And back to Season 1 though, and the community has been extremely divided lately over how OG was handled, and there's been a few different things that everyone is specifically divided on, mostly new movement, lighting, and the and the inclusion of bots. And there's also still a small group of people who believe OG shouldn't have come back at all for fears that it'll ruin the magic having it stay as a permanent mode. And it seems that Epic has already considered all of these points before release though, as the movement is noticeably missing the new Chapter 6 editions of wall jumps, rolls and ledge jumps. And this is clearly on purpose by Epic. The only movement options actually brought over to OG are ones that help you traverse the map faster, like tactical sprinting and ledge climbing, and there's a pretty good reason for this. Fortnite's Chapter 1 map is designed with builds in mind, and if you've played a match of Zero Build OG yet, this has probably become obvious to you, as there are so many areas that you just straight up can't reach without builds or a launch pad, and this is mostly limited to some of the hills and mountains, but without mantling, every single roof on the map would be unreachable, and tactical sprint is likely an OG due to the emptiness and size of the map, as if you remember back in Chapter 1, matches could get pretty slow around mid-game with everybody dropping at the small number of major locations there are on the first map, and then being eliminated super quick, and this is still somewhat of a problem in OG. However, having tactical sprint does allow you to cover more ground and find other players way faster than back in Chapter 1, making the issue much smaller. When we hit Season 2 and more locations get added to the map, this problem will shrink even more, with the map generally being more filled up and players spreading out a little bit amongst the new POIs, meaning you probably won't have games with super low player counts before the first storm circle closes. And the main issue people have with the new mode though is the bots, and when the OG mode released, there were no bots to be found or skill-based matchmaking, meaning every player was real and you would be matched with anyone regardless of their skill level. Now this is of course because things worked this way back in Chapter 1, with the addition of bots in lobbies not actually coming until the start of Chapter 2, but the problem comes from the average player's skill being much higher than it was back in Chapter 1, and this led to some people being a little unhappy with how sweaty the mode was getting, but most generally accepted that this was true to the authentic experience of Chapter 1, and Epic has tried solving this by adding bots into OG alongside skill-based matchmaking, with the lower end of the skill curve receiving up to 90 bots in a singular match, medium being anywhere from 90 to 10 bots, and high skill lobbies only getting maximum 10 bots. And this has led to an outpouring by the community of mixed opinions, with some unhappy at the lack of authenticity in the OG feeling, wanting bots removed entirely, and some willing to compromise with some bots but still thinking the number is way too high. Honestly, 90 bots in a match is insanely high, and personally while playing OG since the addition of bots, it does feel like I encounter them way too often, but that may just be because I haven't played enough matches in it yet for the skill-based matchmaking to really know where to put me, and people have been pushing back hard on social media against the addition of bots though, with most focusing on how wins just feel better knowing that you worked hard for them, and it's actually less fun when every player is obviously AI. Now Epic could solve this issue with implementing a toggle in the settings that would allow for you to turn bots off and on, but this does come with its downsides as it would split the player base even more, leading to longer matchmaking times for everyone. So how they're actually going to deal with this, or whether anything is going to change at all, is still unknown, and we're going to have to wait to find out. Something we do now know about though is Winterfest, and following the update we got yesterday, a few of the rewards for this year have started to appear in the files, and so far we can only see a few wraps and sprays. However, they all have Winterfest in their file name, confirming that we will be receiving these as part of the event when it starts in just a few days. One of the sprays we're getting basically leaks one of the free skins this year though, and that's the Christmas Tree Guff skin. And we've been waiting on this outfit to drop for a couple years now, ever since his survey art was leaked, and now it looks like with this Winterfest we're finally going to be seeing that happen. Most of the actual content for Winterfest is still not in the files, however we'll be coming next week with a smaller update, so we'll be able to find out about the second skin we should be getting for free then. If you made it this far into the video, be sure to subscribe to see more